Hey guys, it's C12, and last Wednesday was the 2-hour premiere of America's Next Top Model Cycle 12. I know I'm a little late, but I want to try to keep up with the review episodes because, I want to post them on YouTube of my opinions on each episode of America's Next Top Model Cycle 12. So, anyways, back to the point. Like I said, it was the 2-hour premiere, and it started off like every other cycle, with between 30 to 35 semi-finalists to wherever destination Tyra Banks wants to review them on, so she can decide who she wants to, between 12 to 14, she wants to put in the cycle house in New York City. So it's always hard with the large amount of semi-finalists to see who stands out the most and everything. There was 5 standouts for me. The first is Celia. She's the oldest of the group with the platinum blonde hair. She looks, if you tell me, she looks like Michelle from Cycle 4. When she had blonde hair. Remember Michelle? She was the one with the bad skin disease, and everyone remember that. And anyways, she was the first of the 5 standouts. The second one was Allison, who I consider a Japanese animation girl, because if you look at her, she has wide eyes, and she looks like a cartoon from one of those Japanese animation movies. She does. So she was a standout. The third was let me get her name right. I need to get her name right. Her name was Aminette. However you say her name. She's the one with the big afro. She looks to me, she looks like Danielle with the big afro. Danielle, the winner of Cycle 6 of America's Next Top Model. She looks like Danielle with the big afro. So I have to learn how to get her name right because I really don't know how to say her name. And the fourth one was Angelique. She was the tough girl from I forgot already where she came from. From New York City Brooklyn or whatever. Angeline. And the fifth was Sandra, but it was not kind of a good standout. She was only a standout because Sandra, she's from Africa, she's a bitch. Every cycle has to have that cocky one. There was Melrose from Cycle 7. There was Renee of Cycle 8. There was Bianca, Cycle 9. And there was Fatima, Cycle 10. And of course, this cycle is Sandra, and she's a real bitch. It's like, for her, it's like all about her. She's like, I'm going to win this, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but I don't like cocky people. I really don't. And, I know this is always a competition, but, if you don't want to be friends with nobody, then don't be friends with them. You don't have to be friends with them. But if you're going to try to have your opinion, say, you know what, you need to work on this, I don't like you, blah, 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 just shut your mouth, If you're not there to be friends and win the competition, then just be there, not to be friends with nobody, okay? Seriously. So, I'm going to make this short, because, this thing doesn't have time. So, from 30 to 21 to 21 to 13, and out of the 5 standouts that I was impressed by, only 4 of them made it. The one that didn't make it was Angelique, and I think it was because earlier the day, she and Sandra had I want to say fight, but an argument and it was kind of heated. And I remember, who was it? One of the J's, the one with the J. Manuel, there you go, J. Manuel, he kind of like somewhat called Angelique out thinking she was the provoker, which she kind of was, if you're going to start rolling your eyes on somebody, you need to keep that to yourself, seriously. But she didn't make it, and the other 4 that I was impressed made it. So, cut 2. New York City. Everyone's gotten to bed, everyone's trying to get to know each other, and Sandra starts her bitch fest about, from, that's my bed to, later that night, her telling certain girls who were talking about the competition, telling them, I'm trying to sleep. Can you please leave the room because I don't need to hear your effing conversation, I don't need to hear that. So she's being a real bitch, and for some reason she thinks she's the queen of that house and thinks she can tell people what to do, but she's not. Sandra, you're a bitch. So, anyways, the first assignment, no, not assignment, but the first little fashion foray in the competition was a runway show, and to me, everyone did good except for Sandra. She went halfway. No, seriously, it was so funny. It was the most stupidest thing I ever saw. She went halfway on the runway, and she only went halfway to the point where, she was only posing for 5 seconds and just left. And it was so weird how afterwards she said, I think I was the best out of all of them and all that. And it was like, no, you weren't. You only went halfway the runway, you idiots. So, she's stupid. Anyway, eventually, everyone did good, and the next day they had their first photo shoot, and the theme of the photo shoot was childhood games, and I kind of thought that was ridiculous. You know, that's a little ridiculous theme for a photo shoot. It didn't seem, to be honest, I didn't like any of the girls' photos. It did not pick any fierceness to it. I mean, there was certain, like, decent ones, like, you know, of course, Allison, and Celia, and who else? Danielle with the afro. So there was decent photos, but it was not standout. It was not like, oh my god, she's it. So, anyways, we eventually go to the elimination round, and the person with the photo that the judges thought, the 4 judges are Tyra, Miss J, Paulina Poroskova, and Nigel Barker, and the one out of the 13 they thought was the standout was Allison. I was kind of happy because, you know, to me, I really think she might be in the final 3 when this season ends. So, sorry, let me get some water because my throat's sorry. But anyways, Allison was first to call, and let me see who else. You know. And I'm not going to explain the other contestants because, you know, they didn't really I didn't seem too impressed by them. But anyways, it goes down from, I gotta use my glasses. Allison, Fo, Tijuana, London, Celia, Nija, Cordini, Natalie, Aminette, Talia, and Jessica. And then the final 2 of the elimination was Sandra and a girl named Isabella. And Isabella was somebody that had, like, she would get seizures because she's someone that has seizures yearly, you know, and I thought Sandra was gonna go home. I really wanted her to go home, but, you know, they picked Isabella, which I was kind of sad. You know, I didn't think she deserved to go home. But, you know, it's kind of understanding because every season, you know, I think they want to keep Sandra because she's the bitch of this season, and they want to keep the bitch usually. Oops, sorry. So, Isabella went and Sandra stayed. So, boo-hoo. But, anyways, I'm gonna keep this short because, you know, because I don't have time. So, anyways, that's what happened of the season, the first episode of Cycle 12. And the next episode is always the favorite, the makeovers, and you're gonna have tears, you're gonna have screaming, you're gonna have people whining, and it's gonna be great. So, till next time, CVL03, have a nice day.